Welcome to episode 153 of Soccer Over Gotham. This is the on Autopilot edition. So we have a great show for everybody here. First, Gotham, again, seems to be on autopilot and not quite evolving. We're going to dig into that. We're going to look at a disappointing draw. And, I mean, I don't even know what to call that loss. I'll let the fans, I'll give 2 seconds of pause. Fans can let us know what word they would use for this loss with the Denver Summit.
After they take their deep breaths, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Think, be mindful, and there you go.
All right, news and headlines. We have a lot of news. Someone goes to jail. We have a Mac Witham watch. Gotham is going to play ball. Then they're going to take a flight to Mexico. Then we're going to recap both of these games. We will look forward to Orlando and then do our manifestation. Jake, welcome to the show. First, Jake, tell us where people can find you on social media and just how are you?
Sure, thank you. I'm good. I'm really looking forward to joining the Soccer Over Gotham team. You can find me I actually just created a new page called Crazy Keeper 94, which, as you'll learn about me, matches the aesthetic. It's a page I created where I'll host all my soccer-related adventures, from playing Sunday Rec League-like games to traveling around the world, watching different soccer games and giving my thoughts, and some of my side quests that Gary's happy to is allowing me to indulge in, which I'm looking forward to. So everything in the soccer verse, I'm going to start putting there. Start adding a lot more things there, including my new blog about watching a game in Taiwan that is coming soon.
That sounds super exciting. For myself, I've been in space. Whenever the world gets crazy, I read a lot, so I'm always trying to escape going to fantasy books and things like that. So lately, the world's been so crazy that I just want to be as far away as humanly possible. So I went and watched that movie Project Hail Mary. I watched that on last Thursday. I just got caught up on the last Star Trek show, and I'm I just want to be somewhere else from there. But fans, if you're out there, whatever you do on Saturday, find a way to make it to a No Kings protest in your area. It's super important. The world's gone crazy, and we need to show a show of force to show us out there that has to be the biggest protest possible. So if you can make it, I'm going to shoot by right after work to get there as soon as I can. Yeah. So let's jump into some news, Jake. First, someone goes to jail. About a couple months ago, we posted about Jess Carter and how she was receiving a lot of online racial abuse, extreme racial abuse, during the Lionesses winning Euros 2025 campaign. And a man was identified and sentenced to 6 weeks in prison, a 4-year football ban, 3 months curfew, and a 239 quid fine. So we always stand with Jess Carter, and easy seeing the world, we stand against racial abuse and any abuse out there whatsoever. But Jake, your initial thoughts on this, just your thoughts on it, and then as an American, seeing someone go to jail for speech is kind of it's both in my head I'm yeah, but I'm I don't know. What do you think?
You read my mind, Gary. I was thinking about, I'm happy that there at least is accountability of a sense. It's not what Jess or women in general, especially female footballers and athletes, deserve. I immediately go to just thinking about the Sam Kerr instance when someone ran on the field and she got more of punishment than he did for literally standing up for yourself. So I'm glad that at least there was punishment being brought up, that at least something happened. It deserves to be so much more. And it seems like, from delving deeper in political issues, that on the other side of the pond, there's more accountability than what we get here. But at least someone is being reprimanded and a light's being shined on the horrible behavior that deserves to be shown how ridiculous and horrible it is to do that. And standing against racism shouldn't be a bold declaration. It should just be the norm in behavior.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I'm just glad there's accountability. Hopefully, it sets a standard that this stuff is just not acceptable anywhere, any place. Again, we stand with Jess. Then good news on the WNBA is back, which I'm excited about. So huge news. The CBA is amazing. It is too big to talk about here. there's so many cool things, and every time I look at it, I'm like, that's really cool too. That's really cool too.
Yeah.
But like the big things is obviously the revenue sharing. That's a huge part of it. It's less than I thought it would be, but it's still a good amount for them to do that. I thought the coolest thing in the entire CBA was equity for retirees. So they're getting pensions and they're getting stipends and they're going to get payments for retired players who paved the way for all the players now, which is I didn't know that was a thing that was possible, but that's possible. Congrats to all of the women who fought for this. That's an amazing thing. Because obviously growing up, they just didn't get paid well for this. So getting something on the back end, what an amazing thing. Salary cap is bigger. Charter flights are mandated, and they expanded their roster, and their salary cap went up almost double, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, your thoughts on the WNBA CBA?
I mean, it's great. Completely echoing your sentiments. It's a long time coming. You actually just mentioning about the equity for retirees, something that is definitely unprecedented in female sports, unfortunately, but it reminds me in the NBA and the NFL, they have this in place where you hit a certain year milestone, you get unlimited medical, why am I blanking on, medical insurance, that's the word, medical insurance, things in place, and the fact that the Trailblazers, the women whose shoulders the current stars stand on, are not just a historical footnote or someone we applaud on a documentary. They're truly reaping the benefits that are now only being reaped because of the hard work they've done. And I'm actually happy this time you didn't mention my favorite thing that was added, which the equity for retirees is great. But one thing I really liked and saw was what they're doing for mothers and expecting mothers.
Yes, that's cool as well.
Yeah, they're starting to put a lot more in. They're actually giving them something that, tying it back to soccer a little bit with NWSL, they're giving them no trade clause, so then they can be in full control of the family planning process when it comes to where they're moving. No situations where you see players that are married to each other in relationships where they're now on the same team, they have to be shipped to a different country to play. If you have a family, you're able to have more autonomy, which is something that is unique to female sports and should be something that should be instilled in. And it's happy to see while being an athlete is unpredictable, being a parent is unpredictable. Something I'm just learning being a new uncle, hearing from my sister. The fact is they're giving more control while they're dealing with double the unpredictability. It's great to see.
1,000%. And then Mac Witham, Mac Witham is killing it with the U17s. Two goals in 2 games in a row. Her goal against Puerto Rico was just an absolute banger. She's going to be so special for us. Did you catch any of these games?
No, unfortunately I didn't. But whenever I see Mac Attack on the score sheet on the roster, I'm always excited. It reminds me a lot. Feel bad, a little unprepared for getting her name, but for Portland Thorns. The teenager
Moultrie?
Yeah, Moultrie. Just thinking like the star Moultrie and seeing her play, seeing how, like, especially with Freddie Adu, other cases, you want to make sure you're giving them their childhood while showing how great of a player they are and protecting and nurturing that. So seeing someone who's holding her own against literal adults, seeing her get her ring actually, and figuring out just having a ring for winning a championship. It's great to see the ascension and can't wait. I definitely want to see that goal. One thing universal. You always love a good top bin, a good banger.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about like players like Mac Witham, she's technically perfect. She's focused on the process, and like there are some players that are technically perfect when they're growing up, but like can they read the game? Can they get a feel for where they're supposed to be at the right times, the right places? And Max seems to have both of those things. So I think she's reading the game really well at a high level. I think she's going to be a talent when she gets ready for the full NWSL level. It's going to be awesome. So we know who Gotham is playing in the semifinals of the 2025-2026 Champions Cup, heading to Mexico, and it is Club America, 7:30 p.m., May 20th, in Estadio Hidalgo in Pachuca, Mexico. And then that day, the Spirits are going to play Pachuca, and the winner of those two matches play on the 23rd of May. And then the third place game is as well. So there's going to be 2 games per day. Exciting to be back at it, and look forward to besting the Spirit again.
Yeah, or if Liga MX Femenil can pull an upset. I feel like every time I blink, there's another international game of high importance that Gotham is in, which is great for the game, great for the league, and that there's continuing to be international exposure and be able to play in a league that definitely is maybe not at the NWSL's level, but you can see the fanfare, the fervor in Liga MX Femenil as well. So definitely some major institutions over there in Pachuca and Club America, and let's see how it is, especially with some of spoiler alert Gotham's struggles on the offensive end, how they deal with a team that will definitely bring the physicality and that defensive pressure of we'll give you the ball, you have to do something with it.
Yeah, it's always a good thing to play at League MX teams. Going to row both leagues, which is amazing. Now we found out what it was. The big announcement for last week: Gotham is heading to doing the Queen's Classic. They will play Washington Spirit July 15th at Citi Field in New York. It's going to be part of the historic first ever women's sporting event at Citi Field. It's going to be huge. Unfortunately, it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes from where I am, so I probably will not make it. I'm going to try, but we'll see what happens. But your thoughts on being able to play in a big stadium in New York, in a classic stadium, and to hopefully bring more fans to a game on a Wednesday night?
Wednesday night, that definitely is the tough part. I think we've seen recently as well. I mean, even the fans that just show up for a Courage game is fantastic, but you're definitely hard. A cold Wednesday night, have people over. It'll be definitely warmer in July, but as I'll say, as a fan of a team that I would say semi-proudly makes baseball stadiums their home for MLS and NYCFC. I've been to a bunch of games at Citi Field. Despite being a baseball stadium, they make it very a good environment for soccer as well. The food's always great, so I think it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. I'm definitely going to try and go as well. And in the backdrop, a new stadium is being built that hopefully maybe Gotham can get some games over there at NYCFC's new stadium when it's finished being built in 2027.
Sounds good to me. Now, I want to talk about these games in a little bit different light this time because as I was telling you before, we were writing the show notes. I'm like, I feel like I was writing the same show notes twice because the games are so similar. So I just want to talk about the overall context, the thoughts about these games, and just the overall themes. So the first thing I want to talk about is the creativity crisis and the roster rotation, things like that. So the first thing is that Gotham is a team that rotates. We all know that, right? It's part of what makes Gotham is that all their players get a chance to play. They all get to come in. And then when it comes down to crunch time, you see at the end of the season what team's depth is better suited to help them get over those humps and get into those championship games. I felt like through the entire playoffs, Gotham's bench is what got them over the hurdle. And I thought Gotham's depth was much better than Washington Spirit's depth. And I think that's what carried us to the championship, right? So we have this. It's the third game of the season. Gotham is rotating. First, they had to rotate, which was first we have Brunina out, we have Freeman out, and then we had Midge Purce right back for the first game, and then we had her out. So, and then Jordynn ends up playing as a right back, which I thought did pretty admirably. So what are your thoughts on the rotation so far? I mean, teams like Orlando never rotates, and it works for them to an extent, but I think Gotham's strength is rotation.
Yeah, I completely agree, especially in a league that reigns as the Queens of Chaos with the NWSL. You need to be able to borrow a basketball metaphor, go to your starting 5 or number 12 on the bench. Anyone can be used, and having, especially you see in professional women's leagues, because there are not enough teams as we deserve to have, even the bottom of the bench has some very quality players that could be starters. Where first first onto the field in the second half as well. I recall, I'm not sure if it was Courage game or the Summit match, but one of the announcers recall speaking with with the head gaffer Amaros about rotation and just wanting to make sure that it wasn't because people were injured; it's because they were in a good place and were worried and just wanting to keep everyone fresh. Where before Nick could become a medium or long term injury, and especially with games so quickly in Wednesday and then on the weekend, definitely good to rotate. But you can also see the large risk and disadvantage of overhauling an entire starting 11, especially with in the second match when you have a team as hungry as the Summit for their first win, and against the Courage that remember has vexed us at the end of the season, and just also players getting their legs up under them. Gotham also being thrown into the fire with the match. I believe it was against Chelsea, or in England, first off the fire. So it's being able to kind of get their sea legs above under them, but definitely good to rotate. But it comes with risks, and I think we saw some of them play out in real time in these two games.
Yeah, it is what makes Gotham Gotham, and yeah. we should expect that. It was a midweek game early in the season. Players are injured, so we expected the rotation that we had. I also want to get your thoughts on Savannah McCaskill so far. For me, it's like it's been a complete mixed bag. Which just your thoughts on her being sitting next to Howell and her so far.
I would say I definitely agree seeing the mixed bag. I recall Summit, I was able to see more of that match. I definitely see during in the first half, one of their better chances that she definitely can distribute. You could definitely see that quality of dropping a good pass in there. And with Howell as well, call one thing I heard from one of the NYCFC color commentators who played in Premier League, talking about when it comes to defensive pairings, it takes at least 30 matches to build that rapport, to build that bond and that trust. 30 matches is most of the season where they can still play well together, but you need that chemistry. And I feel like a similar vibe can also be when it comes to a midfield pairing, working together, being able to know when one goes up, one drops back, how to use the space together. So I believe it comes a little bit with a little bit of experimentation and just getting comfortable. But while you might see last line defense with goal or up top as getting the most play and attention, whether something goes well or doesn't go well, it usually things will develop and happen in the midfield. A good pairing, a good success in the midfield will make or break a game, an attack, and lead to a Bermuda Triangle where it disappears.
Yeah, it's always been the case for McCaskill. There's always been those moments of brilliance. As you mentioned, her distribution is incredible. Mm-hmm. There were at least 2 times where she put balls like on a dime over the defense, right in the player's path, and you're just like, wow. And then the next time she turns around and will play a ball into the middle of the field and it's a complete turnover. You're like, oh gosh, it's been a mixed bag so far. I agree with you that it takes time to build together. I do like her bite alongside of Howell, so it's not just Howell doing all the defensive work there. And I do like her mid-range distribution, so I think it's a good pairing for the long haul. Would I like to see Hasbo there instead of McCaskill? Maybe. Yeah. Time will tell. I think Hasbo is going to be a terrific player over there in Boston, so that's a bit perplexing. But so far, it's been a mixed bag. I guess we'll see how that goes out. And I think, like, who do you think, as far as their absence from this roster, has hurt the most as far as the chemistry? Has it been Midge Purce? Has it been Bernina? Has it been Rose going in and out of the lineup? Just your thoughts.
That's a good point. Funny you brought up one of my dark horse favorite players is Bernina. Just love watching. I feel like she just captures that Jogo Bonito kind of game, where especially saw it in the championship match. Just when you let her cook, she has that almost Midge Purce quality of dribbling, distribution. She's just dancing with the ball. So I feel like that definitely plays a role. Not as worried with the kind of soft launching of bringing Rose in because we experienced that last year as well. We know how talented and great of a player she is, but unfortunately, Rose can have some injuries. So you definitely want to use the depth of Gotham as an advantage to not overplay and have her injured. I would say probably one of the biggest factors missing is having Midge in her usual role on the wing, because you even saw it in the second half of the Summit match when she has that space to move and create. You had a goal that forced a pretty good save by two in a row. Once a Gotham goalkeeper having to force a pretty decent save. So I think when you have support and distribution to Midge Purce, it's just so much fun watching her play. It's just a beautiful display of dribbling and shooting.
Absolutely. You saw in that game in particular that Denver was going at Gotham.
Yeah.
Like if Gotham player had the ball, they were attacking the 3 or 4 players coming after the ball. But as soon as Midge gets on the ball, there's 2 defenders just on their back foot. Just know that they're going to be taken for a ride. And yet she does things that no other player can do. And I think you're absolutely right. I think it's both of those two. It's that right side of Brunina and Midge Purce not being able to set up the attack that way because they work so well together, overlapping and getting balls across. So let's talk about positive. Positive is the defense is still solid, right? They did give up 2 goals in the second game off the lapses, but structurally, this defense is solid, right? I mean, giving up 2 goals in 3 games is not a bad thing, right? I know we want shutouts every game, but that's not a bad thing. But I think the issue for this team is the transition from the midfield to the forwards. If we talk about the last game, I think all 3, I think Szczepanski, Kitahata, and Cook had 20-something touches for their timeout, and it's just not enough. Not enough. Just your thoughts on like what's going on with Gotham as far as like defensively sound. Just where's that transition? Where's that hang up coming up?
I'm laughing because the cruelest irony of all is, and I'll probably annoy a couple of listeners with referencing Red Bull rival NYCFC, but the last time I saw this much of despair and issue, the same exact issues, was when NYCFC had who as their coach? Nick Cushing. The same issues were very stout defensively, but just a lack of either belief or creativity and just free stage fright with the midfield and forwards that just died there. You even saw, why am I blanking on Katie Lapson, where you can see the effort and pushing through, really giving me vibes of Sinclair, of just being a tank, rushing in, physical, great on-ball play, not getting pushed around. But even despite pushing through, it's like she's running into a sea of defenders, and there's no support. There's no that wonderful overlapping runs with Brunina, with Midge Purce, people going around. It just kind of gets stuck there, and you even see it with the XG and the shots. It looks like they had no shots on goal, but they had, maybe not on goal, but they had a decent amount of shots and just nothing to do with it. And then you can see the defense getting complacent and maybe frustrated, and that's when mistakes happen.
Yeah, I think half of Gotham's expected goals came from Jordynn Dudley in the last 15 minutes. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the silver linings here. I think the rookies looked very good, especially, I mean, let's just talk about Jordynn Dudley. For one thing, she's everywhere. She's behind the back line. She's taking hits. She's throwing her body on the line. So impressive with her hold-up play, with driving directly at defenders, just creating chaos all over the box. Just sheer work rate is awesome. I just think that has she made a pitch to be a starter on this team? And if so, where do you see her best role?
That's a good question. I mean, I would say with those runs, I would say definitely wing and so on the show notes, maybe bringing back new winger, longtime forward Esther, put her back up at top. Because I think you definitely get different notes with Lapson and Esther up top. But I think having her out on the left make those runs, because especially for a rookie to be able to have someone that on-ball play and physicality with not having too much of those welcome to league moments and just going at it, that's, I would say, one of the most impressive features. You can see, as you mentioned with Mac as well, you can see young players have the talent, have the drive, but especially you could have that deer in headlight moment when the physicality comes. How do you prepare when you get knocked in the teeth? And you see her having that withdrawal, that wherewithal to keep going. I think the issue is just that finishing, which I think having the support of just known commodities and veterans of the game like a Rose, Midge, Esther, have that next to them, it will free her up from having that much pressure, and she will get that space where they're going to have to the defense is going to have to split their attention, and I could definitely see her just being a shark in open water. She's going to feast on that.
Yeah, the game is cruel sometimes, and if it weren't for Abby Smith's, I think, big toe, that ball was going into the back of the net, and oh gosh, she deserved that after getting knocked around for a little bit. But yeah, I think she is a starter here, but that's the riddle that Amros has to solve. Esther is a number 9, and she's lone number 9. She doesn't really seem to work well with partners up top. So, because when she sees another person up top, she tends to drop back, and she drops like way too far. She wants to be on the ball too much, and that causes that gap between this number 10 and the striker to be too big, and that's where I think we lose a little bit. So maybe they switch to a 4-4-2, maybe. But I also putting her on the left would be there, but that would be where Jaden Shaw would probably fit, and she gets healthy again. So who knows? But I think she deserves a lot more minutes. So get her on the field. Create some chaos. She's been amazing so far. And then the other young players, I thought we all felt bad for Szczepanski so far that she has not gotten on the field. So it was good to see her get the start in the second game, and she looked good at times. But the thing is with her and Cook, they can be invisible at times. And there's players that need to be on the ball more often, and 22 touches, 20 touches is just not enough for those players to make an impact on the game. There's only so much they can do. And Cook, game against Courage, I mean, she was incredible. She can glide through open space. There were 6 defenders, and she just blows right through them. And she can create chaos. I think she's a special player. You were talking about the physicality. She was getting knocked around a bit against Denver and was not handling as well as Jordynn Dudley was. But I think she's going to be special, but she needs to step up a little bit in the toughness department. But I thought those two were good. And then Kita Hata, a little bit frustrating with Kita Hata. She can be a Midge Purce type player. She can take players on, but she's impatient. She just wants to run at everybody and just run through everybody. And she could do that at Stanford. But it's not going to translate too well to the NWSL when the defenders are much bigger, much faster, and much smarter than in college. So I think she's going to need some time to get used to the speed of the game. But your thoughts on those 3 players, those 3 young players?
Well, I think continuing to give them the time to growing pains, make the mistakes, continue to grow, feed off the veterans, feed off of the flow of the game. I definitely agree. You have to get more touches out of Cook. You have to have that midfield continue to build and distribute in the game. And I think especially coming from a powerhouse like Stanford, used to being able to just rely just on that technical talent and skill, and then seeing you're going to have to readjust. And I think to go back to your previous point with Dudley, I think it might have been a beautiful problem for Amros, but something that he's always done well is he always rewards the hot hand, even if it comes from lack of experience, what have you. Anything that I think we saw that even with, I believe, definitely missing her play, Jenna Nightswanger. You have someone that when you see that they're playing well, they're gelling, that they're not going to be dropped just because they're not the expectation, the person you think is going to be out there. So I believe that they continue, especially Dudley, to make strides. If he tinkers and finds the right little experiment in the lab, they're doing well. They'll definitely get their minutes. And I think that will be, especially, hopefully we figure out a little earlier than last season, but if they figure things out and we find that right combination, they're going to be dangerous down the stretch.
Yeah, we saw that in this game. We saw 2 players on the other side of the field that were in that situation, both Ryan and Sheehan, who, when you go back and look at that roster, you're like, okay, Ali Long, Christy Mewis, but Ramos put the best players on the field that he thought were the best players on the field. Yeah. And he doesn't care about anything else. So we saw that, and hopefully it's going to continue that way. And, maybe he sees something different in McCaskill or a player in that position. Maybe give Szczepanski another shot at that position. She did well in the championship game at that position. So who knows? But who is your like hero of the match over these two games? I know it was not much, not much positive.
I would say, not sure if it might bleed over into the second game, just because what do you notice as much as a goalkeeper's best save, their biggest blunder? But I would
Hmm.
say the notorious AKB, as I want to try and get rolling over here. The first game, fantastic, especially with the kick save. I want to just point
Mm.
out there with, while that is really impressive, as a goalkeeper, a couple of rungs down the ladder myself, just seeing the prep and how she moved for to get ready for that in her mind, that was an easy save. It was definitely impressive, but you saw her prepare. The way she hit the ball with her foot, that was with the fat part of the barrel. She hit that ball perfectly. She timed it perfectly, and comes with that nonchalance that you expect out of German goalkeeping royalty. Her and Neuer. Definitely, that was a problem with the second goal, but I can count on one hand the amount of times she's done that Gotham, and I still have three fingers left over. So I would say right now in my head, I think Dudley would give a good run, especially with the effort. But I would give Berger, even though former coach paraphrase said best is it's never good when your goalkeeper is player of the match because it's a little damning about how the rest of the game went. But you continue to have Berger playing the way she is, and I think a little bit of the rust getting the season underway. You're going to see Dudley making her way as player of the match while having embarrassment of riches on that line.
Yeah, she always makes the one save she has to make. In both games, she made big saves.
Yeah.
So in the one blunder does take her down a little bit, but I think her body work of those two games were excellent. Howell didn't put a foot wrong in both games,
Yeah.
but that's just who she is. Nothing spectacular in those games, but just solid all the way around. And Dudley, just for being a game changer, I think there's special. I think it's a welcome to the NWSL moment. So, I mean, the kind of theme that I caught on from both games is it seemed like Gotham was on autopilot.
Yeah.
And they were locked in. They were a little bit lackadaisical in the second game, but they know who they are and how they want to play. And they don't think anybody can beat them. They don't think that any team can break them down. So when Denver's forward got past the back line, you saw everybody raising their hand like, how is this possible? Like, how does somebody get past this? Right? So I just feel like this team needs a reset in their aggression and not just who they are defensively, but they really need to go back to that Washington spirit, dominance, and that aggression. Because I just felt like this team was just too much on autopilot and not evolving this season. Does that make any sense?
No, that makes tons of sense. I believe that'll come when we get more of the starters with their legs under them.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised as well seeing Mandy Freeman left off. I feel like it's death, taxes, and Mandy Freeman on the field. She has been an immovable object. Is always finds a way from either being a physical presence to then becoming more mobile. She has always found a way to adapt to the game and find a way to make her presence known. I think once you have stalwarts like that in there, and then we just find a way to have the on the wings defensively and middies as well, have them continuing to make those runs, have that confidence to play off of whoever is the midfield pairing, make those runs, and then you'll see the up front whoever it is just grinning ear to ear. Once you have those runs, especially you'll have someone like Midge, Purce, Barina, they'll just cross serpentine through. You'll have that pen wonderful crosses, or then you'll have someone lead into you spread out the field enough, Astaire, Lapson. You'll find a way, depending on what the formation is, you'll find a way to just feed those forward. So I think the main thing is finding a way to get the wings, get the people on the edges, be able to start making those runs, playing off of the midfield, and then we're going to see that aggression, that pattern aggression we're used to seeing from Gotham.
Yeah, with Midge Purce back, everything is different.
Oh yeah.
On the standings, Gotham is below the line for the first time this season. In the ninth place, we are was that? Let me put points here. We're tied for sixth place at 9, tied for sixth place with a team we're playing this weekend, the Orlando Pride, who look to be dangerous again because Banda is back and she's scoring a goal a game like she always does. So let's talk about Orlando, 7 p.m. That's late for a Sunday. Kids got to go to school on Monday. So Sports Illustrated Stadium, 7 o'clock on the weekend on Sunday. Orlando is a team that we know so well. And as we talked about earlier, Seb Hines does not rotate his teams, so you know exactly what you're getting every game from them. Avalier getting to be able to play with Banda for an extended period of time is going to be dangerous. We know that as well. We know they like to sit back in a low block. We know they like to just spring Banda forward and let her run 60 yards and drag you all the way around the field. So how does Gotham handle this? Your thoughts on what we got to do to get back on the winning side of things at home?
I would say we have to take a different, opposite approach from what we did against the Summit. Because you saw with, I was trying to pull up the name of the Summit goal scorer, because she's the second player in NWSL history to score in 3 games for an expansion side. And one thing I noticed, especially on that first goal, which was a great finish, all respect to that finish, it was you saw on the ends, despite being, it's an early season, but being the goal scorer, being one of the top players you want to go to, and their coach making that clear that they want to continue to feed the ball to her. If that's your top player on the opposition, why is it that on the wings we only have a one-on-one defensively? Because then she gets through, and especially with Banda, she was watching that game. She is licking her chops ready, because she'll make that run and just sprint past, leaving everyone roadrunner style in the dust. So you definitely have to find a way to have the defensive center the mid pairing drop back, so then you can have someone really clean up and pressure, and Jess Carter have someone push over and really force a Banda type to redistribute, recycle, and kill that counter game that they love to go with. And especially now that we have our depth, really use that strength against a team that likes to run out their starting 11 and make them earn it out there.
Yeah, we definitely got to stretch Orlando out. We can't let them sit in the middle of the park and just send balls long. The big problem against Denver, especially Denver, and even against the Courage, is that we were just not pressuring their double pivots. Their defensive midfielders were able to just distribute wide and side to side. And with a team like Gotham, who wants to push everybody into the corner, getting stretched side to side is never a good sign. So we really need to keep Lily real high and wide, get Midge Purce back on the ball, and hopefully we get either Mandy Freeman or not that Duran did anything particularly bad. She's just outmatched as a outside back versus as a center back. Yeah. So I think we just need to beat them wide, keep out of the middle of the field, and this game may come down to another set piece opportunity, like it did in the semifinals last season. Come down to just one play, and Gotham's size and strength could hopefully get them over the hump and get back in the winning column. Your manifestations for this next match?
My manifestation for next match is to definitely see more of a direct causation between possession and XG. We've noticed where right now we have the possession where we'll keep the ball. I was surprised in seeing that for both games we had overwhelming possession, because the energy didn't play that way. It didn't feel like we had that momentum. So I need to find a way, and hopefully it comes with our reinforcements. Funny to think of some of the star-studded level of talent we have as the reinforcements, but to have the players who are able to return and come back, really rejuvenate some of the young talent and players like Dudley we have, put them in positions of success, where even though it's not surprising in NWSL to see, we saw it with Crystal Dunn, seeing players with Jenna Nightswonger as well, players with versatility, but getting someone who truly feels comfortable and at home in that position, get them there so then they can continue to pepper the keeper. And I believe if we're able to do that, we're able to find cracks through that low block that Orlando Pride loves to use. We can find a way to really pressure that, find a crack in there. We could use the wings, and then we have our defensive consistencies of Berger and goal, defensive pairings back with Sonnet, Carter, Freeman, hopefully as well. So I'm manifesting that. I'm hoping for that.
Yeah, no doubt. And I just want Gotham to come out on the front foot and stay on the front foot. Just be a little bit of reckless abandon and let Bandit go to the top.
Yeah.
Let's just go at them. Send Midge Purce at them. Send Dudley at them. I would actually like to see Kaya Harper start in this match. I want to see her energy, her reckless abandon, her just driving the players. I might even want to see that. So I want to see Gotham actually like go at Orlando and not be afraid and sit back.
I agree. Then,
that's what I want to say.
If we do that, then bring in the second half team that shies away from bringing on subs with Orlando. We then have, whether it's Rose, even you saw excelling in the role with Midge Purce off the bench, Astaire, where I would prefer maybe Astaire in there and then Lapson come in the second half. You bring in someone like that who you have players in Orlando that are going to be playing maybe at 80, 70, 60%. You bring on fresh legs of people that are known commodities, known starters. That I think will definitely put that manifestation into action and hopefully lead to some really happy fans at Sports Illustrated over the weekend.
Sounds good to me. I'll be there. You be there?
Fortunately, I don't think I'll be there, but I'll definitely be watching after using my Rosetta Stone to find out which streaming platform it's on. And hopefully this time victory is not an irony. It is just a reality.
No doubt. So everybody follow the show on YouTube, like us there, share our show with anyone you think might listen. We are growing there as well. And it's been a good ride. So we're keeping it up there. We're also going to do some quick news shows. This week was crazy with 2 games in a week. Yeah. So we'll be back quick and early next week. Thank you for joining. Jake, awesome. Thank you for joining us. We'll have you back anytime. And we will see you guys at the game on Sunday.
See you there. Rise up, Gotham.